Hi, it's Denzil Edmeade. If you're new, this is where I talk about business, faith, singleness, and things like that. So I thought it's only right today to talk to you about my faith and my relationship with God. The ups, the downs, and how I've maintained my relationship over 20 years. So let's get into this. So we're going to talk about my journey of faith and how I found God. But actually, wait, I actually didn't find God. God actually found me. Now, why do I say that? I was not looking. I was living the good life. If I'm honest, girls, buying the clothes, the designer clothes, I had it all. And it was funny because I remember when it all started to happen, me starting to come and God really started to put things on my heart and started to think about God. And I remember one time sitting in my room. Now, I was still living at home at the time. I was probably about 18, something like that. And I remember thinking, is this it? I had a room, I had a sofa in my room. Not many 18-year-olds had a sofa in a room, had a big screen TV. It was like a swanky room, right? I even had designer wallpaper. Jeff Banks, I don't know if he's still around, but I had Jeff Banks wallpaper and everything. I was driving, I had a Golf. And then I remember thinking, hold on, my life is only gonna have an extension of everything that I've got. I'm gonna have more rooms compared to my one-room bedroom. I'm gonna have a car, but a nicer car. I already had designer clothes. I was wearing, I remember having a Burberry duffel coat. And I was like, I'm just gonna have more stuff. And then I remember saying to myself,
is this all life is?
And then I remember a friend saying to me,
dude, come to church.
I'm like,
no, dude, I don't want to go to church.
Because none of my family at the time went to church, right? I went to church when I was 5, you get picked up by the van, the Sunday school van, and they came and obviously picked you up and you sat there. And I remember just falling asleep in every service thinking, this is gonna be the longest thing ever. And I thought, I don't want to go back there. But anyway, somehow this friend from basketball got me to church. And I'll never forget, I was in the service with my friend and I'm sitting there and this guy who looked like Wurzel Gummidge, I swear to you, this wasn't one of those American pastors, T.D. Jakes or something like that, super charismatic Pentecostal. This guy was a white guy who looked like Wurzel Gummidge.
I'm never much good on remembering.
Now, funny thing is, he would speak and it felt like everyone around me disappeared. And he was just talking to me and I'd be sitting there like, how did he know that? How did he know to speak into my life? And every week I went back, he would speak and everybody would disappear and it felt like he was talking to me. Now I understand now that was God speaking through him to me in my life. And the more that I started to get to understand this faith walk and things like that, started studying the Bible, had Bible study classes. Next thing you know, I'm baptized in a minute. Now, I remember when I first got baptized, all my friends were like,
dude, what happened, man? You were a ladies' man and life was going good. Why? Are you in a cult?
Like me? No, dude, I just found God. I found Jesus.
And it was just a crazy ride. So really that's how it all started for me. And 20 years later, I'm still here. One of the questions that people will ask is, okay, has it all been good since you came to faith? I would love to tell you the positive story that I came to God and everything became heavenly. But it didn't, not for me, right? I don't know about it for anyone else. And I've got to say this as well, even when I got baptized, I didn't have a heavenly moment. There was no dove come down from heaven. I remember getting baptized and I was like, whoa, I just feel normal. That was it. It was in my pastor's house. That was it. And life didn't get better. A lot of times life got worse. And I had some real challenging times on this faith walk. Over 20 years, I've seen a lot of highs and I'll talk to you about those, but probably didn't talk about some of the lows. Obviously, the video you've seen before, I've been divorced. That wasn't in my plan, I thought I'd be had this awesome marriage and be this awesome husband and everything was work out beautifully because I'm in God and I'm trying to do all the right things and got divorced. One of my best friends died. And Amana, and every time I think about him, he died and he had cancer and his story's well known. And I remember just praying for him every single day, praying for him. I remember going to the hospital and I just really believing that God was just going to turn up. I really believed that God was going to turn up and he didn't. And it was crazy because not only did he die, his wife died. And I really questioned if God could be real in that moment. And I remember, I remember being in my car saying to God, how can you be real when this happens? You know, how really can you be real? How can there really be a God in heaven? And why didn't you not answer my prayer? And I remember in that moment, I was like, I'm going to give up my faith today. Today's the day that I give up my faith. Today's the day that I don't want this anymore. You didn't come through for me. And I remember God saying to me in that moment, I was sitting in my car and I was by the canal, I'll never forget, in a place called Lapworth, this little village. And, you know, I was by the streams and then there's this, it's like this little private wood and I was sitting in my car. If you imagine the moment, and God said to me, okay, what if I'm not real? What if this is a figment of your imagination and it's just like folk stories? And it made me think, wow, what if this is not real? Then my boy Edmeade's not in heaven. His wife's not in heaven and his kids have no hope. And I couldn't, for me, living with that was worse than losing my friend. And I realized that actually, do you know what? We're all gonna die. Every single one of us. Like, he died earlier than I would have liked, but he was still gonna die. But at least I have the hope that he is in heaven with God. And God may have not have answered the prayers right here and now, but he's answered the prayer in heaven because he's no longer in pain. Him and his wife no longer in pain. And now, you know, are probably their prayers, and I've got a picture in my bedroom of them. Their prayers are now looking at me going, Denzil, I want you to get to this place too. And ever since that day, it gave me great encouragement. So that was one of my lowest lows within my faith. But some of the highest highs have been some amazing things. God has taken me to places that I just didn't ever think I would ever be. Now, I came out of school, no qualifications, no nothing. You know, I was that classic single parent family, grew up in the inner city, all of that. But when I got into God, man, my mind started believing some of the stuff I was reading in this word, and it just gave me confidence. Like, I didn't have a dad around, and it was almost like God became truly my father, and I could talk to him about anything, you know, decision making and things like that. And it just, my life just started to get crazy. Like, my career went from here, my friendships grew, my surroundings changed, and so many good things came from that. And even if I look back at my life now, I wouldn't change. Like, I know all this stuff, even this studio wouldn't have happened because of God. Like, God gave me the inclination to go after it. You know, I've been lucky in properties, and I know God led me down these paths and would just lay things on my heart. I'd read something. I've had incredible discipleship from older, wiser people that's just given me so much peace. And God has also taken me through the hard times where I've seen a lot of people crumble, and God has given me the peace and the joy through storms. That was just some of my highs and lows. I don't want it to be like, you know, a full story.
Biography of Denzil's life.
For anyone who's trying to find faith, you know, in this world of God, do we believe in a God? I really do. And obviously my faith, I'm a Christian. I just wanted to give you like my 3 points of like how I've sustained when I've seen, unfortunately, so many of my friends come and go in faith. It's an encouragement for any of you who are on your faith journey, maybe right at the beginning or in the middle, just to keep going. And here's my 3 tips. Tip number 1, get to know God. I find a lot of people have an opinion of who God is, but don't have a relationship with him. And that's no different than us being on Instagram going, Kim Kardashian, man, I really don't like her. But you don't know her. You have little clips of TV or on Instagram, and then we make our judgment. And I think people do that with God. They don't fully know. Like, you haven't read through the word. You haven't spent time with him to fully understand him. And here's the thing, the more that I spend time with God, the more I'm falling in love with him. Every day that I read my Bible and I spend time, we go for walks every morning, me and God go for a walk for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes. We walk, and the more that I do that, the more I fall in love with him. I journal and he will just speak to me. I really believe that. And that's what's made my relationship with him so solidified that I just can't ever see my life without him now. I don't care if that's for the next 40 years. I don't care what happens in my life. And I've had some traumatic things happen in my life. I just cannot see me walking away from God. He's so now a part of me because we have a relationship, not a religion. We have a relationship. The second thing I would say is test him. God has so many times asked me to take leaps of faith. I remember leaving my corporate world, and maybe that's a video we'll do, like the transition from the corporate world to the entrepreneur. And I remember him saying, Denzil, I need you to give up all of this. You know, so many times he's asked me to do that, 3 times where he's asked me to leave the safety of my little box. When I'm earning good money, he'll go, just leave it, just walk out of your job. I've got you, I'm gonna show you something different. And I've done that, and things have just gone well. In the end, at the beginning, he was really nervous. And it's almost like when God says to Peter, walk on water, and he walks on water, you're like, wow, it works. And I think that's the thing I would say that's really increased my faith, is every time I've taken a step of faith and I've seen God come through, it increases your faith and it makes you believe even more. Definitely tested by walking by faith. God will speak to you about something. Walk by faith, not by sight. Third thing is endure and be patient. No great thing comes instantly. I know we live in an instant world, microwave world. But sometimes you've got to endure and be patient. And God will test if you really want something. If you really want this, will you have perseverance? And I'm telling you from my own experience, if you do that, okay, you're gonna find the fruits of walking with God. I truly believe that, and I don't believe there's anything better. Because listen, there's science, and I love science. I love the physical stuff. We've got science, physical, we've got the mental thing of our minds, it's beautiful, but there's this spiritual side in all of us. And I think that's the area that we don't develop. That spiritual side that is in each and every one of us, that encompasses hope, love, and faith. So listen, once again, I'm not here to preach or anybody. I just wanted to share my journey and understand the things that I've been doing. And that will really resonate with some of the other videos, why I do what I do, like no sex before marriage and stuff like that, which has been a struggle, let me tell you. But maybe that'll be the next video that we do. God's gift to us is life. What we do with that life is our gift back to God. So I pray that you go out there and live a life worthy of living. God bless you, and see you for the next video. And remember, obviously, we'll do a video once a week. Just make sure that you subscribe, like, comment. Let me know about your faith journey, your faith walk, or even if you're just thinking about it, hit me up and I'll definitely comment back. I'm always intrigued by other people's stories, their faith walk, and what's going on their journey too. So God bless you, and see you soon. Bye-bye.